Dave and I just looked at each other and it was like, wow, this song is amazing, but nobody's ever going to play it because it's like nearly 8 minutes long, you know? But I was wrong.
Bonnie Tyler's powerhouse anthem Total Eclipse of the Heart undoubtedly became the defining hit of her career. It featured on her 5th album, Faster Than the Speed of Night, and it achieved near-instant global success. It was the UK's 5th best-selling single of 1983, and it kicked Michael Jackson's Billie Jean off of the top spot in the charts. And it dominated the charts in other countries as well, like the United States, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. The track earned a spot among Billboard's Song of the Year and secured Tyler a Grammy nomination for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. Did you know, though, that this track actually has its roots in vampires? Let me explain. And welcome to Music Mongoose. If you love delving into music history like I do, click subscribe and join the pack. The nearly 7-minute epic Total Eclipse of the Heart was written by Jim Steinman, known for his dramatic theatrical songs, including hits for Meat Loaf. Steinman's background in musical theatre heavily influenced the song. As a student at Amherst College in the late 1960s, he wrote an experimental musical called The Dream Engine, which featured the line, "Turn around, bright eyes," originally a reference to the flash of a nuclear explosion. The phrase later became the iconic refrain in Total Eclipse. Shortly after this musical, Steinman crossed paths with Meat Loaf in New York. Steinman went on to write the music and lyrics for Meat Loaf's 1977 debut album Bat Out of Hell. Although initially dismissed by its label, Epic Records, the album became a massive success, selling 43 million copies worldwide. It turned Meat Loaf into an unlikely rock icon, and Steinman became very sought after as a hitmaker. One admirer of Bat Out of Hell was Bonnie Tyler, a Welsh singer with a husky voice that stood out. Her signature rasp, described as Stevie Nicks with an edge, was a result of surgery to remove vocal cord nodules, which added a gritty depth to her voice. And this distinct sound helped propel her 1977 hit, It's a Heartache. However, by 1982, her career had stalled, and she was now looking for a new direction, having just signed with a new record label. Bonnie had been amazed by Meat Loaf's performance of Bat Out of Hell on the BBC's Old Grey Whistle test, and was determined to collaborate with Jim Steinman. When she told this to her A&R representative, Muff Winwood, yes, Steve Winwood's brother, he was skeptical, insisting that Steinman would never agree. However, Tyler persisted and told him to at least make the request. Though Steinman initially declined, the two did eventually meet at his New York apartment in 1982. During their meeting, Steinman tested Tyler's musical sensibilities by playing two of his favourite tracks for her to sing on. Creedence Clearwater Revival's Have You Ever Seen the Rain and Blue Oyster Cult's Going Through the Motions. Impressed, Steinman agreed to produce her next album. Both of those songs, by the way, would appear as covers on the album. Steinman crafted Total Eclipse of the Heart as a quasi-duet with Rory Dodd, another of his musical theatre collaborators. He's the one who sings the turnaround lines in the song. The true origin of the song is quite weird though. As it turns out, Steinman wrote it for a Nosferatu musical years before, but never finished it. In a 2002 interview with Playbill, Jim Steinman revealed that he had originally conceived Total Eclipse of the Heart as a vampire love story. It was originally called Vampires in Love. It doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it? In 1997, Steinman featured the track in his musical Dance of the Vampires. And it all makes sense actually, because if you look at the lyrics, it's all about darkness and the power of darkness and love in the darkness. Something that vampires famously enjoy. Together we can take it to the end of the line, your love is like a shadow on me all of the time. I don't know what to do, I'm always in the dark, we're living in a powder keg giving off sparks. And once upon a time there was a light in my life, but now there's only love in the dark. You see, it's all a bit vampire-y, isn't it? Especially when you consider the music video, but we'll get onto that in a bit. Once the song was adapted for Bonnie Tyler, all the pieces fell together. They recorded the track at Power Station in New York. Jim Steinman had a specific approach. He would lay down a basic rhythm track, record 9 takes of the song, select the best one, and then layer on additional elements. After the session, Steinman gave Bonnie Tyler a cassette recording to listen to in her hotel room, and they both decided that the second take was the best. Funnily enough, during the recording process, Meatloaf had lost his voice, and after Total Eclipse of the Heart became a hit, he would often joke that the song should have been his. Now, the song was primarily designed to highlight Bonnie Tyler's powerful, raw vocals. It's not pure or smooth, Steinman said in a 1983 interview. It sounds like it's been through a lot. That's what rock and roll is all about. And in fact, Total Eclipse of the Heart became the first rock power ballad to top the charts in the 80s in the UK. A few rock-oriented power ballads had seen success in the charts before, like Styx's Babe, REO Speedwagon's Keep On Loving You, Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight, Chicago's Hard to Say I'm Sorry, and Toto's Africa. But Total Eclipse caused a notable shift. The success of that track paved the way for more rock power ballads to have a stronger foothold in the UK charts. In the years that followed, tracks like Foreigner's I Want to Know What Love Is, or T'Pau's China in Your Hand, or Starship's Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, all climbed to number 1. Steinman and Tyler's hit helped spark a craving for similarly dramatic, emotionally charged anthems. And it could be argued that Steinman was responsible for bringing emotionality to rock and roll. His influence can be seen in Metallica's Nothing Else Matters, The Scorpions' Wind of Change, and Nickelback's How You Remind Me. Now, he certainly wasn't the only influence in this shift, but he can be seen as pretty important in blending raw emotion with rock music. Now, as for the music video to Total Eclipse of the Heart, well, it's wildly over the top, isn't it? But it perfectly captures its shameless theatricality, making it a standout during MTV's early days. Set in an eerie abandoned asylum styled to look like an English boarding school, the video features slow-motion doves, dancing ninjas, fencers, gymnasts, and choir boys with headlights for eyes. It turns out even Bonnie Tyler herself couldn't explain that one. The video's director, Russell Mulcahy, in the book I Want My MTV, recalled brainstorming the video with Steinman. I'd suggest let's set it in a school and throw in some ninjas. And Jim would go, let's add a choir boy with glowing eyes. Jim is fabulously crazy, he said. Tyler would have only one more top 40 hit in the US, with 1984's Holding Out for a Hero, co-written by Jim Steinman. Steinman sadly passed away from kidney failure in 2021 at the age of 73. But Total Eclipse of the Heart lives on, with over 800 million streams on Spotify and over 1 billion views for its YouTube music video. The combination of Steinman's songwriting and Tyler's intense vocal delivery is what made this track what it is. And did you know that Steinman worked with Def Leppard for a while? It's all explained in this video about how the band accidentally made their biggest hit, Pour Some Sugar on Me. Go watch it next.